Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this review of Power Slam, the Wrestling Magazine, issue 148, £2.90, and it's got the man Kurt Angle on the front. Angle joins TNA, full coverage of the biggest story of the year. So I believe there is a date in here. November of 2006, issue 148 was. So November 2006. Trish Stratus, goodbye and good luck. Stratusfaction. John Cena regains the WWE title. Wow, just retired as well, isn't he? Homicide, Ring of Honor in New York, no surrender. The Insiders Part 2. The old Insiders. Got an old back cover there. Silvervision.co.uk. Win tickets to the Raw and SmackDown TV recordings at the Men Arena, Manchester, in November. There you go. Booker T, King Booker. So John Cena there. Big Show. He was great, wasn't he? Big Show. Batista. He was a beast, wasn't he, when he first started wrestling. His massive physique, didn't he? Unbelievable. So Mickey James. She's a pretty lady, wasn't she? So there we go. Alright. So let's check this out. Very cool there. We've got beaten and battered Shawn Michaels there. So that's the write-ups they used to have in these magazines, weren't it? The like you always had the contents, didn't you? Which was cool. So let's check this out. Let's check this out. See what we've got going on here. Oh. Got a very beaten and bloody Triple H there. He was very good back in the early days, wasn't he? Back in the Attitude Era. I loved the feuds he used to have with Stone Cold and Undertaker and Rock. They used to have some really good feuds, didn't they? So, very young John Cena there. Queen Charmel. The old Hurricane Helms there. He was very good when he did the old Hurricane, wasn't it? Hurricane. When he did those segments he used to do with Rock were really funny, weren't they? He used to call who was he used to call Hamburglar? Rock used to call someone Hamburglar, didn't he? So Rey Mysterio, he was very good. I liked him in WCW when he had the little horns on his head. I thought it was I preferred that to the old lucha sort of look, but yeah, I liked him in WCW. It's crazy that scene with him and Macho Man when Macho Man pole drives him because he won't join him. Do you remember that? I like that segment. There's Kurt Angle. He was unbelievably skilled, wasn't he? And such an entertainer. Kurt Angle was definitely one of the funniest, wasn't he? There's no doubt about it. When he was telling Stone Cold he's a SOB, weren't it? With the little cowboy hat on, the proper little like, toy kid sheriff's hat on. And the scene he did with the moped with the Undertaker, I was rolling up when I saw that. And one of his best matches was with Chris Benoit. I thought him and Chris Benoit, they brought so much out of each other in the matches. I never found those matches boring. Those matches were so like intense, especially to keep switching and changing and the out wrestling each other. Because you know, putting aside what happened obviously with Benoit and his in his personal life, his wrestling skills were absolutely phenomenal. That was another madman in the ring, weren't it? Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. I loved him in his early days in WCW when he was with the Steiner brothers, when it Rick and Scott Steiner. But he really found his own, didn't he, when he became Big Papa Pump, didn't he? They could have done so much of him in WWE, and they just didn't. It was a shame. It was such a shame they didn't utilise him like they utilised him in WCW. If he had done the Madman segment in WCW that he did in WWE, it's, you know, it's a shame that the WWE just didn't use him enough, because he could have done so much. Great Muta. That's the name from the past, ain't it? He used to have some great matches in WCW in the early days with Sting and stuff like that, didn't he? It's the old Bruno San Martino. I always liked him. He was brilliant, wasn't he? I always loved that segment where when Piper was like the ultimate heel, wasn't he? And he did Piper's Pit with San Martino, didn't he? And he ends up doing his usual, doesn't he? He gets him to sit down and they jump him, don't they? Him and Ace. They used to get you to sit down, didn't they? And that'd be their thing. And then they'd work you in and give you some like comments to get you going. And then old Ace or Piper would hit you from behind, wouldn't they? That'd be it. They'd be rushing you then, wouldn't they? I used to love that Piper's Pit. I used to like all the shows. I liked The Body Shop. Jesse Ventura was always good. Funniest by far though was Bobby Heenan show, wasn't it? When he done that the Bobby Heenan show, when he broke away from the old wrestling show, weren't it? When he got his own little show as like a side thing, and it was awful, wasn't it? He had all these cheesy guests and all that. It's typical Bobby Heenan, weren't it? It was just so funny, because Bobby Heenan was he was the greatest, wasn't he, for entertainment. I was watching earlier the old Boss Man's mum, bless him. With Bobby Heenan, we used to go through cussing the Boss Man's mum all the time, didn't he? And it was just some of the cusses were just so funny, weren't they? And it was always backed up, weren't it, by Vince McMahon, like telling him off, wasn't it, for doing these cusses. And it was always great fun. Yeah. Obviously, R.I.P. to the Big Boss Man. He was a great guy. Loved him in his early days when he was the Cobb County law enforcement officer. You know, he's come charging down to the ring with that nightstick. Absolute brilliant stuff. So there's Trish Stratus there. She was a big fan favourite, weren't she? Big Lita fan myself. But she was brilliant, Trish Stratus. Edge. I always liked Edge when he was in the Brood in the early days. Didn't think they did enough with the Brood. It's just a shame, Edge, Christian and Gangrel. They used to come out with that cool music, didn't they? That was really great music, weren't it? It's old Petey Williams down there. That sick flip pile driver he used to do, that looks so... I don't know how he used to get it going, but flipping heck, if I was on the receiving end of that, I'd be so worried about my neck. So we've got a little writing section there. People can write in different things. The old SmackDown games, look, 2007 SmackDown vs Raw. He was always in phenomenal shape when he Triple H. Remember him back in the early days when he first sort of joined the ministry, wasn't it? That was when he looked his I think he looked his best, didn't he? So Brock Lesnar. He was an absolute animal, wasn't he? I mean, he still is. I mean, but back in the early days, weren't it, when he was like F5 in the Big Show and all that? How the hell did he pick Big Show up on his shoulders like that? I know obviously the Big Show, you know, that's probably had to jump a little bit or whatever, but he just had the strength to hold him up there. And I remember Cena doing it as well. It's the strength for those people, man. There's Randy Orton. He was a pretty cool guy, wasn't he? I liked his dad, Cowboy Bob. His dad, Cowboy Bob, was brilliant, wasn't he? Really good heel, wasn't he? It's Macho Man there. What up, March? I loved his music in WCW, much better. I think they used him a lot better. He had his best run in WCW when he come back in that all black outfit with the macho writ on the front. And he was literally just pile driving everybody he come across, and like he proper charging around like a madman. That was where we because he could do a mad promo, Macho Man. It's the old Taz mission. I liked it when he had that little feud with the King, when the King was protecting good old JR. And you had Taz and Raven, didn't you? Kept attacking Jerry the King and JR, wasn't it? I thought that was good. It's old King Booker. He was such a funny character, wasn't he, Booker T? He was hilarious, weren't he? I mean, his skills, don't get me wrong, his wrestling skill was brilliant. I loved Harlem Heat. I thought they were great when they were together. Him and Stevie Ray. They had some really good feuds, especially when they had Sherry with them, Sensational Sherry. I really thought they were great then. And they looked the best then as well, I thought. But Booker T, honestly, those scenes where he was in the bingo hall and in the church and in the supermarket, and Stone Cold was just chasing him everywhere, and Stone Cold making that be a fireman, wasn't he? And I thought really funny recently when I saw that the cups, weren't it, when he goes into the service station and the kids are all around the machine and they've got all these cups, haven't they, for Rob Van Dam and all these other cups, and he goes, oh, they must be all out of Booker T cups. They must have got rid of them all, mustn't they? Someone must have they must have took them all, sort of thing. When there ain't no Booker T cups. I thought that was really funny. I don't know why. Those old Hardy Boys, they were good, weren't they? Matt and Jeff, especially in the early days when they first come about, weren't they? Christ, they used to fly from everywhere, didn't they? Some of the early days, mate, were great, weren't they? And especially Attitude Era. Those ladder matches were brutal, weren't they? Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, I still think was the best ladder match. I don't know if you've got a match you guys like, ladder matches. Make sure you let me know what's your ladder match, if you got one. It's old Mr. Kennedy there. Never was a fan of Mr. Kennedy. Don't know why. A lot of people liked him though. I just wasn't my cup of tea, I don't know. But a lot of people liked him, and he was a bit of a champ, wasn't he? He had some belts and stuff, he had some runs. Some of the old technical wrestling there. It's always good to watch the old technical wrestling, and it depends on who's doing it though, doesn't it? Like I say, Benoit was unbelievable, wasn't he? Bret Hart, Owen Hart, all those kind of technical guys. And obviously Angle, Kurt Angle. The king of technical, wasn't he? So Samoa Joe. He's a machine, isn't he? Don't know if he still is, don't know if he's still around. So Trish Stratus with a belt there. Tori Wilson. His name I haven't heard for ages. Some people always seem to do better, didn't they, in like WCW than they did in WWE or whatever, vice versa, or TNA. So that's obviously Trish Stratus retiring. There he is, the man, Kurt Angle. He was much more serious in TNA, wasn't he? He got to touch on his wrestling ability again more in TNA, didn't he? But they didn't really do much comedy stuff, did they? Much of his comedy stuff that WWE touched on. He was brilliant. It's true. It's damn true. Yeah, he had quite good feuds with Samoa Joe, didn't he? Kurt Angle. I liked his feuds with everybody, really. He was funny with I don't know if you remember, with Brock Lesnar, when they were doing one-upsmanship with each other, and Kurt Angle Brock Lesnar slaps Kurt Angle's back when he's drinking that milk and he spits it all over that woman. It's hilarious. And I'll tell you what else was good as well was the angle where I think it was Benoit had his gold medals down his pants. And he's chasing his gold medals about everywhere. I really loved that. There's old Shawn Michaels there. JBL. He had to take that that position, didn't he? As it's like the cowboy, the Texas millionaire. I you know, he was always Bradshaw to me. He had his best run as Bradshaw with the Acolytes when he was with Ron Simmons. But if you're getting a singles push, you're going to have to take it, aren't you, in wrestling? Because that's really where the good money's going to be, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure you make good money as a tag team, but at the end of the day, you're going to start chasing titles. That's where the money's at, isn't it? That's where the tickets are sold, isn't it? So there you go, yeah. I like these clothesline from hell was brilliant, wasn't it? It's Kevin Nash. Edge and Lita. That was quite a controversial time, wasn't it, in WWF? Yeah, she was always my favourite diva though, Lita. Very pretty girl. So Brian, the madman, Brian Pillman. He was good, Brian Pillman. I liked him. I liked him really in his really early days in WWE as Flying Brian. Fantastic as Flying Brian. Then he went into the Hollywood Blondes with Stunning Steve Austin, didn't he? It was Stone Cold, obviously. But in WCW, they were Stunning Steve Austin and Brian Pillman, wasn't it? And they were Hollywood Blondes, weren't they? That was good. And then he obviously went to WWF and then WWE, wasn't it, as it became. And they did the old Stone Cold's got a gun angle, didn't they? Here's another one, died young though, weren't he? Bless him. He passed away. It's old Kevin Sullivan there. He always cracked me up when he did that that demonic character he did in WCW, weren't it? Father, I need another wrestler, Father. He used to crack me up. That's my impression there, that was. Don't want no one stealing that. Edge there was another one that had to go on his own, weren't it? Edge and Christian. They were really good together, so I like the Brood, but they did have to have a singles run, didn't they? There's Jim Cornette. I thought he was fantastic when he used to manage the Midnight Express. He used to hit everyone with those badminton rackets, didn't he? I used to like him. His accent, what I've always liked. I think he's got a really good accent. Anything's obviously better than my accent, but yeah, I really liked his accent. There's the King Booker T. They must have sold out of Booker T cups. Yeah, what a great guy. I actually really like. He's one of the people now that I look on like as one of the sort of superstars of wrestling. I really do think he was such a great guy, Booker T. So that is it, guys. that is Power Slam Magazine of 2006. So 2006. Seems like yesterday, doesn't it, that Kurt Angle joined TNA, and there you go, John Cena, who's literally just retired, regains the WWE title. So £2.90. These magazines are always expensive, aren't they? I find. I mean, £2.90, that doesn't seem like a lot. It is for a magazine, isn't it, really? And I suppose you're paying for the print and the work and everything that goes into it. Okay, so thanks for joining me on this review of the wrestling magazine, Power Slam. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon.